This is a little bit of an impromptu longer video about where am I going with this? Well, last week I was busy with a student and we were going through some irregular plurals. And there were some irregular plurals that do happen to follow rules, but it's not common irregular plurals. I thought that we'd take a quick look through some of them, understand that you might not use these words and you might not need them. And this is more so for an interest point of view. And if you do happen to use them, fantastic. Please let me know in the comments on how you do use them. Let's get into it. Let's have a look at the first one, which is some words that end with on changed to a in the plural form. For example, phenomenon, one phenomenon, many phenomena. Criteria is an interesting one for me because most often, and even with native speakers, we would use criteria as a singular and a plural, which is actually wrong. We have many criteria in the plural form, but one criterion. I think that's an important one to remember, even for myself. Next, some of these that you should know. Remember that IS, we change it to ES. And there is a difference in pronunciation. This is an important one to pay attention to. Hypothesis becomes hypotheses. Crisis becomes crises. Analysis, analyses. Diagnosis, diagnoses. Basis, bases. Thesis, theses. Oasis, oases. Axis, axes. Words that end with us get an I. For example, stimulus, stimuli. Alumnus, alumni. Focus, foci. Nucleus, nuclei. Cactus, cacti. Also says that cactuses is also accepted. Nowadays, maybe people are a bit more about cactuses. Remember, English or languages in general are a living, breathing thing. They change over time. Fungus, fungi. Again, sometimes you might hear people talk about funguses in casual contexts. Radius, radii. Syllabus, syllabi. The last one is the becomes an O. This one for me is also an interesting one because bacteria, while in theory I understand that it's a plural, I have sometimes used it in the singular form, which again is not right. One bacterium, many bacteria. We have addendum, which is addenda, datum, which then becomes data or data. But in modern English, we treat data as an uncountable noun. Data for us is something that is really, it is uncountable. So please pay attention to that. Medium, the plural is media. Again, I cannot remember when the last time I heard the media being referred to as medium. Curriculum becomes curricula, but again, in maybe casual situations, you might hear people use curriculums. I personally would still use curricula. Memorandum becomes memoranda. And I think this is probably being something that is commonly accepted, and it is a full-on change. Stadium is the singular, and stadia is actually the plural. But we don't use stadia very often anymore. Maybe in some old books is where I've read it, we definitely talk about stadiums. As I mentioned, it was a little bit of an impromptu class. I hope that you enjoyed it, and please let me know in the comments if you found any of these interesting or if you've used any of these irregular plurals. Pay attention to the pronunciation of some of the plurals. It is important in the different ways that we pronounce it. Thesis, theses, it does make a difference. And besides that, have a wonderful, wonderful day.